What's going on, everybody? Welcome to John Hand Reviews. This is a channel I made so I can talk about my favorite movies, games, books, everything. But today we're going to focus on Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, because that is the big news. That is the big news for Star Wars fans right now, and it's all I can think about, and I can't stop Googling about it. And I'm somehow caught in the middle because I don't want to know spoilers, but I also do want to know spoilers, but I also don't know if there's spoilers because it's the internet, and who can trust the internet, right? So first off, let's talk about the big question, and that is, how is the Emperor coming back? How is the Senate coming back? How is he coming back? I mean, I know he is like the core villain of Star Wars, but good lord, how is that man not dead?
Put me down!
How is he not dead? I want to know how the heck this guy is back, and they need to explain it. Okay, Abrams, I know you, man. I know you don't like to explain things, but you're gonna have to do it for this one. Put up or shut up, man. Time to explain some stuff. Enough with the teases. Do I sound bitter? I don't mean to sound bitter. I don't like being teased needlessly. I think we can all agree on that, right? I don't know how that's going to make sense or if it will make sense, but if they bring him back, that's fine. You know, why not? I just feel like it's the finale. Why not go crazy with it? As long as he's not just some weird little cameo. Like, if they promote him as a big character and then he's in the movie for like 5 minutes, no, that's not cool. He needs to be a featured villain in the film. See, here's the thing. I didn't really ever buy into Snoke as a character for a couple of reasons. For one thing, his name. His name is not menacing at all. I'm sorry. Snoke. And then he just kind of came across to me as an Emperor Palpatine ripoff. And that didn't do it for me either, because I was like, oh, we just saw one of these guys get tossed down a shaft in episode 6. And then when they killed him off in The Last Jedi, I was thinking, well, I didn't mind that so much because I wasn't invested in his character. I didn't think he was all that great. I think it was fine. He was adequate. So it's kind of like, okay, so they're bringing back the Emperor, who's, to me, the superior villain. But is it going to make sense? Is it going to be explained in a way that's believable even in Star Wars? I don't know, but I know that it kind of worries me. Even though I love the character and I love the actor coming back, kind of worries me. I think another problem that I had with Snoke was that he really didn't do anything. He was just kind of there. And characters are, I think, at least on film, they're more defined by what they do rather than just where they are in the film or what they say. Snoke didn't really do anything. I don't really understand, first of all, why they changed his appearance so much from The Force Awakens to The Last Jedi, because I actually thought he looked really ridiculous in The Last Jedi, even though, like, the visual effects were really good. Like, his character, the CG looked really great.
A Kerr's weakness, properly manipulated, can be a sharp tool.
But his character looks so strange compared to The Force Awakens. I mean, I thought he was kind of silly looking in comparison. I don't really know what the point of that change was. It didn't do anything for me. Maybe they should have written him better. Maybe they should have explained some more things about him. That's probably true. But honestly, I was kind of glad to see him go. I didn't really care for him that much. And so when they killed him off, I was like, okay, all right. I mean, I didn't think Kylo Ren would be the big bad because that doesn't make any sense. He's already kind of established himself as not really as evil as he wants to be or as powerful as he wants to be. But I'm just saying, Snoke didn't cut it for me, so not worried about it. I mean, I would like to know who he was, yes, but it's not really like, I'm not dying to know. It's not a pressing question for me. Anyways, that's enough about Snoke and Palpatine. Let's move on. One of the big problems with the sequel trilogy so far is that there's not enough world building, and we're not really given enough information about the state of the galaxy. I'm not saying that we need to know everything that's going on from the beginning. I definitely get that. It's different because we're building off of a trilogy that already had some finality to it. The end of The Return of the Jedi, you saw certain events that happened that made you think that institutions like the Empire were gone, right? And so to see the First Order rise up from the ashes of the Empire raises a lot of questions. The same thing goes for Luke's absence. Why is Kylo Ren idolizing his grandfather? Doesn't he know what happened to his grandfather? Why did the New Republic allow the First Order to become so powerful and remain unchallenged? They fought the Empire 30 years ago, and they know that they're basically remnants from the Empire. They know they're fighting basically the same enemy, but this time they decide to take a pacifist strategy to it. They think that will work. Well, let's see. That turns out really great for them, doesn't it? So I'm not saying that Rise of Skywalker has to show us like 6 new planets and explain everything that has happened, but we're 2 movies into this trilogy and we really still don't know what the heck happened in those 30 years. But this is seriously a problem with a lot of franchises right now, is that they'll introduce these new stories, or it'll be a continuation or something, and they won't answer basic plot points in their standalone films. And they expect you to read a bunch of books or comics or play a bunch of games or something like that to get basic answers. Most audiences aren't going to do that, and it's really unfair to expect them to do that. That was one of my problems with like the way the Halo franchise is going, is that there's so much that's going on, and it's getting a little confusing in between each game because they're not really explaining what's going on. And so Star Wars is doing the same thing, and that's really not a good practice to have in your series, because it alienates your audience, and people don't want to leave movies like this completely confused. I mean, yes, we want to theorize, and yes, we want to speculate, but there's a point where it becomes a little actually kind of insulting to leave so many things unanswered and just expect us to buy into things that are going on, like the First Order. Like, why are they still there? Like, yes, if you read the books, if you read comics, play games, you kind of know that the First Order, the Empire, is not completely wiped out after Return of the Jedi. Like, they're basically pushed back again and again until they make a final stand at Jakku, which is the planet that's featured in the beginning of The Force Awakens. And then after that, a bunch of them retreat into the unknown regions. But you wouldn't really know that if you hadn't really watched, or if you hadn't read the other material. You wouldn't know that from watching the movies. So that's all I'm saying. The movies need to stand on their own. I'm not saying they have to answer every question, but they need to answer enough so that it doesn't turn into just a big tease. I'm just saying, in my experience, it is harder to enjoy a movie when you are very, very confused while you're watching it, and you're still confused years later after watching it several times.
What is going on? What are you doing?
I know when I go to see these movies with my family, a lot of them are not as big Star Wars fans as me, and I don't expect them to have read everything and studied up on what's actually going on. They need to be able to go into the movie and pretty much understand what's going on. That's good storytelling. So I'm going to leave it at that. But while we're talking about the First Order and the New Republic and everything, one thing I do not understand is, why did the New Republic just let the First Order walk over them like that? They knew they existed, and yet they just let them launch this one attack that wiped them out. What did they think was going to happen? Did they think the First Order was just going to play nice when they started to rise up in power? I mean, what were they expecting to happen? They should know, after dealing with the Empire, what to expect. That was either incredibly naive of them or incredibly stupid. I don't understand that to this day. It makes me... That's why I feel almost nothing when I see those planets get wiped out in The Force Awakens, because I'm thinking, you guys are stupid. You're stupid for letting the First Order get this powerful and remain unchallenged. You had an opportunity to fight them in a actual war, but no, you decided to send the Resistance instead? What? That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Did you guys not see this coming? did you not know that they were out there? Clearly, they knew they were out there because the New Republic funded the Resistance. So obviously, they were trying to oppose them. They just didn't want a full-scale conflict. But on that same token, it's like, well, maybe the First Order's not all that threatening because they build these super weapons that can be taken out by just a handful of X-Wings. I can only imagine what George Lucas was thinking whenever he was watching that scene when they showed it to him. He's like, y'all completely just copied me. This is just another Death Star trench run. That's all it is. It's another Death Star and it's another trench run and it's more X-Wings. I have to tell you, I really don't like the argument that says, well, Disney had to get Star Wars fans back on board, so it was necessary for them to revisit old ideas and things like that. I'm thinking, people like original ideas. Audiences will buy into new ideas if they're good. So please don't throw that argument in my face because that to me is just a cop-out. That is giving filmmakers an excuse to do the same old thing all the time, which is actually, it's a really bad problem in Hollywood right now where they're just, it's a lot of reboots and it's a lot of sequels and it's reimaginings. There's not enough creative new ideas being explored. So that's been a problem in Hollywood for years. So that argument is just terrible. I'm sorry. Oh, then it's really funny because they clearly are catering to old school fans whenever they made these new movies, especially like The Force Awakens. But then they turn around and say like, Star Wars is not for you guys anymore. It's for kids. It's for kids. And you are not aging with the franchise. So they're basically biting the hand that feeds them. Good job, Disney. Good job. Appreciate you guys. We can have a debate all day long about who Star Wars is for and who it isn't. I'd like to think that it's for everybody. I mean, what a crazy concept, right? It's okay for kids, adults, white, black, whatever. Anybody can enjoy Star Wars. I don't really get that. I mean, I don't know. I'm 29 years old. I still like Star Wars. I don't have any kids yet, so I really want to introduce them to it whenever they get old enough. But, I mean, I'm giving Disney my money because I like their product. Isn't that as simple as it should be? I don't get it. Next item on my list, bigger scale battles. I want to see some massive fleets taking on some massive fleets. I don't want to see any more of these little ragtag band of warriors taking on the First Order. Okay, there has to be something more to this finale than just that. We don't need just a rehash of Return of the Jedi. We don't need a rehash of anything. We need something unique and something epic and big. Okay? Think like Avengers Endgame scale. Why do the heroes always have to be so under-equipped and ill-prepared? And it's really interesting because the Resistance is supposedly being funded by by the New Republic. But then you look at what the Resistance actually has, and in a lot of ways it looks like they have less than the Rebellion ever had in the original trilogy. I don't really get that. I think surely they have more resources that they can use than this, right? This is not just, they're not just throwing everything they have at the First Order, right? But I would be wrong, apparently.
Keep that tight formation. Fighters, protect the bombers. It's not every day we get a shot at a dreadnought. Gunner, look alive. Form up. Vector ready to flank line.
That's about as epic as it gets for the sequel trilogy so far. I know there's that final battle on Crate at the end of The Last Jedi, but again, it's the Resistance with next to nothing to fight against the First Order. It's not really much of a fight, to be completely honest with you. And I don't want to see that anymore. I feel like it's the same old thing, and after a while you get tired of seeing the heroes get so beat down, you know? Come on, I would even take the droid army by now. Like, somebody bring in the droid army to help out the Resistance. I'm sure they would help fight against the First Order. I just feel like if this is the finale of the Skywalker Saga, then it should be absolutely massive. You know, it should be like the space battles of episode 3 or Rogue One or something like that. They should be epic. It should be insane. And I want this saga to go out with a bang, because so far the sequel trilogy has been a mixed bag. There's some good, there's some bad, but this is one area where they've really fallen short, and I think they could do a lot better if they just give it all. Like, don't tease all those Star Destroyers if they're not actually going to be put in action, because what I would hate to see happen is that somehow the Resistance like finds a way to blow them all up in one attack. Surely in this massive Star Wars galaxy, there's other ships and other fleets somewhere that can be of assistance. This is the end. This is the end. This is it. This is not a time to be conservative. All right, the next item on my list is Kylo Ren and Rey's relationship. Whether or not you're a Reylo fan or you hate the idea, regardless, I think they had really good chemistry in The Last Jedi. And I think their team up in the throne room with Snoke was amazing. Can I get an amen? It's beautiful. It's so well shot. It looks amazing. And it's so unexpected. Like, that scene just blew my mind, because I was like, not only did he kill Snoke, but then they together take down the guards. And then, of course, it, you know, throws your expectations all over the place again whenever you realize that Kylo Ren's actually not doing the right thing. He's just getting rid of opposition. Rey and Kylo have really good chemistry. To me, the best parts of The Last Jedi were their interaction.
They didn't.
They did, but you can't stop needing them. It's your greatest weakness. Looking for them everywhere. In Han Solo, now in Skywalker. Did he tell you what happened that night?
Yes.
No.
And of course, it's kind of hard not to talk about, you know...
You will not bow before Snoke. He'll turn. I'll help you.
Okay, yes, I do want them to get together. Does it make sense? No. But my feelings don't make sense a lot. So, I have a feeling that what it's going to be is some kind of alliance between them, and they have to take down the Emperor together. And then I wonder, like, well, where's the Chosen One and all this?
You are the Chosen One!
Because, in case we all forgot, Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader, clearly threw Palpatine down that shaft and thus, quote, fulfilled the prophecy, I think. Whatever that actually means. I don't know what that means. What does bring balance to the Force mean? Can someone explain that to me? What does it mean to bring balance to the Force? It's going to be really tricky, because they're going to have to find a way. If they bring the Emperor back, it's like, how do you not undo everything that Anakin did at the end of the Return of the Jedi? What do you do with that if you're bringing back the character that he killed, the major sacrifice that he made? What do you do with that? It's a hard question to answer. And I don't envy J.J. Abrams and the cast and crew with dealing with that, because that is a huge task to handle. Now they've only got one movie to pull it off, because that's it. We're at the end of the Skywalker Saga. So they've got to find a way to make that make sense, and at least some satisfactory. It doesn't always have to make a lot of logical sense, because it is Star Wars and these are movies. But there needs to be some consistency to the story, and it needs to be done in a way that honors the previous characters and honors the previous storylines, because otherwise I feel like I'm not even watching Star Wars if it's just going to ignore entire plot lines, you know? So please don't make Rey a Skywalker. One of the things that you'll find about me in this channel is that even when I see companies and directors and actors and industries make big mistakes, I try not to be too critical. I mean, I know that there's a lot of criticism in this video for, like, the new Star Wars films, but to be honest with you, I actually really love most of them. I just have some serious problems with them. So I don't think that for me to be a fan of Star Wars means that I have to be blind to the mistakes of its leadership. I guess where I find myself with Star Wars right now is this, it's a cautious optimism. So I'm excited for the new content, and I'm a little hesitant because some of what Disney has done has been a little strange and questionable and often lacking in inspiration and creativity, which is really weird to say that coming from a company like Disney, although I know it's Lucasfilm that they own that's actually producing the content. But anyways, I'm going to remain optimistic because I need to see how it ends, and I think that there's an opportunity here to salvage the problems that have plagued the new movies. I really think Abrams could do it. Will he do it? I don't know, but he's capable. He is a capable director. Please do not give us another Death Star. 3 is enough. 3 is enough, Abrams.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
It's too big to be a space station.
It's another Death Star. No, actually, sir, this was the Death Star. I'm like, please. He literally just called it out for what it is. It's another Death Star. That's what Starkiller Base was. All right, let's just forget about that. Lord, help me if I see another Death Star. I am just saying I will not be able to handle it if there's another stinking Death Star. And so I will give up on Star Wars if there's another Death Star in this movie.
I'm gonna kill myself! Wow. I'm going to kill myself, and it's your fault!
This is going to be the finale for the Skywalker Saga. And look, if there's great Star Wars content ahead of this, I'm all for it. Like, I'm really excited for the Obi-Wan show, and I'm really excited for the Mandalorian and the future games that they have planned. But really, I'm invested in the Skywalker Saga because I want to see how it all comes full circle. It's 9 films about this family and these Force users and the Empire and the Rebels and everything in between. It needs to all come full circle. That means, yes, I want to see some prequel callbacks. I would love to see some clone troopers. I would love to see Yoda again. I would love to see Anakin.
What?
Yes, Hayden Christensen. I know what you're thinking. You're like, please no. But no. Putting my foot down. If you're going to bring back the Emperor, you got to bring back Anakin.
How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair.
And also, I can't believe I almost left this out, but we need more lightsaber fights. I mean, look, I know Star Wars is full of them, but the sequel trilogy has been kind of light on it. I mean, you got one in The Force Awakens, and you got kind of one in The Last Jedi, although I don't really count that one in the throne room with Rey and Kylo. That wasn't really... They never fought each other, and not that I wanted that, but... And then when Kylo Ren fought Luke, that wasn't an actual fight. And then in The Force Awakens with Rey and Kylo, that fight was a sham because, folks, let's be real, Kylo Ren never should have lost that fight. That is ridiculous. Kylo Ren has had training. He has had way more training than she has up to this point. So that's why he should not have lost the fight. Bottom line, I think it's going to be a lot more satisfying this time if they fight each other. And we know they're going to fight each other because you can see it in the teaser. It's going to be a lot more satisfying because they've both grown as characters and because by now she's clearly become very capable with a lightsaber and it would make sense. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I just hope it makes more sense this time and that we just see more fights because I really feel like The Last Jedi was really lacking in them. And like I said, The Force Awakens, that fight to me wasn't very satisfying. So that's something the Rise of Skywalker can improve on, and I think they probably will. I think it would be really cool if they had something on the scale of like Revenge of the Sith, you know, although that would require a lot more characters to be in the story, and I don't know if they have enough time to bring in more lightsaber combatants because we're at the finale. But I'm just saying that Revenge of the Sith did it right. I mean, there are some amazing lightsaber fights in that movie, and there's a lot of them.
I've been looking forward to this.
Attack, Kenobi.
But I think at the end of the day, Rise of Skywalker is going to be an excellent opportunity for the community to have some healing, which it needs. The fan base is really divided. And look, here's the thing, guys. I really love The Last Jedi, but even I will admit that it was divisive. And I don't think it should have been. I don't think Star Wars should be super controversial within its own fan base. I know Star Wars as a franchise has a long history of its fans getting pissed off about something, but you can say that about almost any franchise. It doesn't even have to be a movie franchise. It could be comic books or video games or a sports franchise or something like that. And on the flip side, I also don't think Star Wars should be a total rehash and a shameless ripoff of its previous versions. So we don't need one extreme or the other. We need good ideas that are executed well. Johnson did some things that were stupid, and Abrams played it way too safe and also did some things that were stupid. So what they need to do is be bold and courageous and use the power of creativity and inspiration to fuel your passion for Star Wars and deliver a finale that is worthy of the franchise. I know they can do it. They are capable. Are they willing? Are they willing to do it? Believe me, I know what it means to be pissed off. I know what it means to lose. I am a Jaguars fan. So believe me, I understand what it's like to see a franchise get so far ahead and then let you down and then get you excited and let you down and rinse and repeat. I've been there, okay? So I'm not blind to what the fandom is feeling because I'm experiencing it myself and I've experienced it in other ways.
Follow you, you're going nowhere.
You think you would have done better without me? Really?
I hitched my wagon to a horse with no legs.
Wow! Okay! Man!
You watch it!
If I'd wanted to hit you, I would have hit you. Wait, time out, time out, time out. Time in. No!
I would never encourage somebody to get super pissed off about a movie franchise or anything like that. But I know that it's within your right to get upset about it. And I think that as long as you can be fair and reasonable in what you're saying, that you should be heard. I don't think that it makes sense from not only a business standpoint, but from just an ethical standpoint for a company that's been given control over a beloved franchise to just be dismissive of its fans and to write them off as toxic fanboys or something like that. Yes, there are some people like that. There's probably more than I'm giving credit, but there's a lot of fans that are just dedicated and passionate, and they have grown to love characters and stories, and they don't want to see identity politics or agendas being shoved down their throat when the story is being completely neglected. If you're completely compromising the story and the character for the sake of some message, that is poor storytelling. I completely understand if movies want to send a message, and they do that all the time. But if you're going to send a message, don't neglect your story. Don't neglect your characters. Don't neglect your writing, and have it make sense. If you write an entire story thread that only serves a purpose to send a message that completely removes you from the film and removes you from the universe and removes you from the immersion, I think you have missed the point of the story. I think you've missed the point of the movie that you're making. I hope you've enjoyed my rant. I will probably talk more about Rise of Skywalker in the weeks and months leading up to its release. I think the trailer is dropping tomorrow, so I'm really excited about that. I'm probably going to try to do a reaction video. And there's so many more things I want to talk about with this franchise. And, you know, I just started this channel, so there's a lot to talk about. So, what are your theories and expectations and predictions for the Rise of Skywalker? Comment below. Let me know what you think. Hit that like button and subscribe if you'd like to. And we will catch you later.